In recent months, a tense and at the same time intriguing expectation has been forming around Neuralink, which is increasingly being discussed not only in technological circles, but also at the level of the largest global media. According to information leaking through insiders and publications such as Bloomberg and Reuters, the company of Elon Musk is gradually approaching the next stage in the development of its neural interfaces. And this stage could become a turning point not only for the industry, but also for the very understanding of what it means to be human in the 21st century. This is not just about a medical device, not just about a chip that helps people with paralysis interact with a computer. This is about a potential transition to direct integration of the human brain with the internet, artificial intelligence, and digital infrastructure as a whole. And if we believe the current leaks and indirect signals that regularly appear in Musk's own interviews and in the company's technical documents, Neuralink is already working today on an architecture that in the future could transform a human into something fundamentally new, into a symbiosis of biology and technology. Right now, this sounds like science fiction, but it is important to understand that the foundation has already been laid. The first patients with Neuralink implants are already demonstrating the ability to control a computer with the power of thought, type text, move a cursor, and even play video games without using their hands. This is a basic level, a kind of zero version of the interface. But inside the company itself, according to people close to the development, scenarios are being considered that go far beyond medical applications. The key idea is to create a direct communication channel between the brain and digital systems, without screens, without keyboards, without intermediaries. Imagine that information from the internet can flow directly into your consciousness, bypassing vision and hearing. This is not just an acceleration of access to data, it is a qualitatively new way of perceiving it. It is a situation in which a person stops searching for information and begins to load it into themselves. This is exactly where the concept of symbiosis appears. A human is no longer a separate biological system. They become part of a larger network, part of a global intelligence. Artificial intelligence in this model is not just a tool, but a kind of extension of human thinking. You think, and at the same time the system connected to you also thinks. You make a decision, and it is enhanced by analysis that happens in real time somewhere in the cloud. In essence, this is the next logical step after smartphones. Once the phone became an extension of our memory and communication, then the internet appeared, which became an extension of our knowledge. Now we are talking about removing the final barrier, physical interaction, and making the connection between a human and the digital world direct. But if you look at this more deeply, it becomes obvious that this is not just about technology, but about a transformation of human nature itself. Because as soon as you gain the ability to connect directly to the internet through your brain, everything changes. Education, work, communication, even the very perception of reality. Imagine that you can learn a new language not in years, but in hours. That you can instantly access any information as if it had always been part of your memory. That you can enhance your attention, concentration, and speed of thinking with the help of algorithms that work together with your brain. This is no longer just a smart human, it is a human enhanced by technology. That is why some analysts, including experts from MIT Technology Review, call such developments the first step toward a post-human era, an era in which the boundary between human and machine begins to blur. However, it is important to understand that full realization of such a scenario is still very far away. Even if Neuralink presents a new generation of chips in the coming years, it may take decades before they are widely adopted and brought to a level where they are safe, stable, and accessible. Biology is an extremely complex system, and intervention in the functioning of the brain requires incredible precision and caution. In addition, there is a huge layer of questions related to security. If your brain is connected to the internet, a logical question arises. Can it be hacked? Is it possible to gain access to thoughts? Is it possible to influence decisions? This is no longer just cybersecurity. It is a question of control over consciousness. Some experts from Stanford University and Harvard University directly say that the development of neural interfaces must be accompanied by the creation of an entirely new legal and ethical system, because current laws are simply not designed for such technologies. There is also a social aspect. If such devices are expensive, they may create a new level of inequality. Imagine a world in which some people have direct access to knowledge and enhanced intelligence, while others remain ordinary. This could lead to a division of society into two categories: enhanced and non-enhanced. As for cost, at the early stages, such devices will most likely cost tens of thousands of dollars. It will be a niche product available only to a limited number of people, but over time, as it was with smartphones and computers, the price may decrease significantly. And then the most interesting stage will begin: mass adoption. And here we come to the most important point. Even if the technology develops gradually, the very fact of its existence already changes the direction of human development. Because as soon as the possibility appears to become better with the help of technology, the question arises: is it possible to refuse it? History shows that people rarely refuse tools that make them stronger. The internet, smartphones, social networks, all of this has become an integral part of our lives in a relatively short period of time. And neural interfaces may become the next step in this evolution. Some analysts even say that we are now living in the last decades when a human remains fully biological. This sounds loud, but if you look at the pace of technological development, there is logic in it. We are already surrounded by digital systems that influence our thinking, behavior, and decisions. The next step is the integration of these systems inside us. That is why projects like Neuralink generate such resonance. This is not just a startup. It is an attempt to look beyond the horizon of current civilization and take the first step to where human and technology become a single whole. And perhaps the most interesting thing is that this process has already begun. Slowly, cautiously, with a huge number of limitations and checks, but it is moving forward. And if it does not stop, then in a few decades we may find ourselves in a world where the boundary between human and machine will not just blur, it may disappear completely. And if we try to imagine what this world will look like in practical terms, it becomes clear that the changes will affect not only technology, but also the very structure of everyday life. Work may stop being tied to skills that we spend years mastering, because access to knowledge will become instantaneous. Communication may go beyond language, shifting into a format of direct transmission of meanings and emotions. Even creativity may change, because ideas will be born at the intersection of human experience and the computational power of artificial intelligence. But along with this, the main question will arise: where in all of this will the human remain? Their uniqueness, their mistakes, their imperfections, which are exactly what make us human. And perhaps the answer to this question will become the most important test for the technologies that Neuralink is working on today, because this is no longer just about the future of devices, but about the future of human nature itself.